Yeah. Come on, man. We are live again. We are live right now. We are on the live and we can see a few people already on the live. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm excited. Today is Easter Sunday. And for those of you who are religious like I am, we are celebrating the resurrection of Christ, which is a big deal. You know, that's what made us all who we are today. And so we are happy to have you on the live. And just before we continue, we just want you to hit the share button. You know, I always want to do it while I'm on live so you can see that it is important for us. So why don't you hit the share button right now and then see what will happen. If you do that, then you know that other people will see. So hit the thumbs up, hit the share, and let's roll together because we have a very important show today, and we just want to enjoy ourselves together. So this is again the Life and Health Show, and today, without wasting time, just want us to talk about what we are about to talk about is actually this topic: how stress kills. And we know that stress is something that is dangerous. I'm pretty sure that everybody knows that stress is dangerous. Stress is very dangerous, but it is not enough to just know that it is dangerous. It is enough, though, to know how you can avoid it and if it is dangerous, what you can do about it. So today we're going to point out to you, some of the bad things about stress, and then how it can actually literally kill you. And hopefully, we will convince you to change your lifestyle and ensure that you do not get the worst of stress. All right. So, as we always do, though, before we go ahead, we want to share with you our health tip for the week. It's even though we're talking about health all day today, we still have a tip for health. And today's health tip is that we're actually going to publish a video about this. But before that, just want to hint you that it has come out. Studies have shown that if you use artificial sweetness, all those artificial sweetness that we know about, I'm pretty sure if you are trying to stay away from gaining a lot of weight, you are hitting on artificial sweetness in your tea, your coffee, or your porridge, or whatever you eat with sugar. You say, I'm not going to use that anymore. Or you may not just be drinking sweetened sugar, sweetened soda. You are drinking diet Coke, diet minerals, or diet Fanta, wherever you are watching us from, whatever name it comes under, you are taking a diet because you feel like that is how you can avoid the sugar. So is artificial sweetness good for you? The health tip is that no. But we're going to show you a video that explains why that is the case. So that's the health tip, at least for this week. Keep in mind, if you're using artificial sweetness, until you see our video on our channel coming up this week, watch out that we are saying it is not good for you. If you can do something about it, even better. So that is our health tip for today. And I don't know if you, honey, you don't have anything to say about that. Okay. So with that being said, we want to make sure that we are actually talking about our topic for today. And our topic for today, as we have already said, is that we will definitely overcome stress. And the ways we are going to try and overcome stress is that, let me pull this right away from my screen so that I can share with you all. We can overcome stress. We want to talk about what stress is. And then after we have talked about what stress is, we are going to definitely talk about how to overcome stress itself. And so without any waste of time, today we are coming to you at 6 p.m. Eastern Time instead of 5 that we usually do. But that is because of it's Easter, and I know that it's still going to work out. So just make sure you share the stream with other people so that we can see that we are doing this together. All right. So in the interest of time, we're going to go right on to our show, our live topic today. Stress. What is stress and what we can do about stress today? What is stress? We're going to have a few things that we can talk about in terms of stress. So, topic is how stress kills you slowly. How stress kills you slowly. It is a bad. it is. It is a bad thing to say something is killing you slowly. But unlike our video last time, last couple of weeks when we talked about, couples killing each other for whatever reason, this time people are not killing anybody. Nobody's killing anybody. You may be killing yourself by using stress. And so we want to avoid that. By the way, we're going to go back to that topic. We want to bring some experts in there to talk about it at length, talk about the various aspects of that particular topic, which is how relationships can get very deadly. We are going to go back to it. Don't forget, we will go back to it. Because of Easter, we want our resource people were not available, but we're going to definitely hit back at that again. So stress now. Stress can be killing you slowly and you may not know it. Some people think that they are used to it. It's the way of life today in the US or wherever you are. You got to be stressed if you want to make money. But is there anything that we can do about it? And I think there is. There is a lot of stuff that we can do to avoid stress. And so that is what we are going to actually talk about today. We're going to talk about some of the things that we can do to help us in avoiding stress. So, what is stress? That is what we're going to talk about first. The first thing we're going to talk about is what is stress. And without wasting time, I don't know if you want to start with that. What is stress?
What is stress?
I think I'm ahead of myself here, but yeah, what is stress?
I keep we keep telling us, oh, I'm stressed today. I'm a little stressed today. So what is stress? Stress is feeling of emotional or physical tension. So if you're tensed physically or emotionally, it can be determined as you being stressed.
Emotional or physical tension, right? That is what stress is. Definitely. And we have some types of stress. Now, stress can also be referred to as a perceived threat. When your body perceives some form of threat, the body feels like something is about to happen to it, be it something real or perceived. If your body perceives that there's danger, that's the word I was looking for. There's danger out there, then the body becomes stressed. So stress by itself is a good thing because God put stress in us to be able to avoid danger. Remember when we were created, we were living and roaming about with the animals in the forest and places like that. And so for us to be safe, we had to have stress. So when you see a lion charging at you, you would be able to what? Run away. That is acute stress. And that is one reason why stress is good. But then as we go forward, we will know why it may not be all good at all. But let's hit on the types of stress. And the types of stress, I don't know why my thing didn't show, but...
Oh, I think you're going through the topics.
Oh, yes, you're right. Yeah. So we're actually going through the summary of what we are actually going to say. So the first one is what is stress. We're going to talk about types of stress. And then we're going to talk about causes of stress. And then how does stress affect the body? Thank you, honey. All right. So now let's go. And then the last one we're going to talk about is how to manage stress. How to manage stress. So this is a summary of what we are going to talk about. So what is stress? We already talked about the types of stress. We're going to talk about causes of stress, how to manage stress, how the stress affects our bodies. All right. So now let's go. So this is where we actually begin. Stress is a physical or emotional tension. And then there's also a response to perceived threat, as we have already said. So,
like if you're stressed, or you physically, your body will, I think if you go to people that massage, they can touch your shoulders and just touch it and feel like, oh, you're really stressed. So it means that physically you feel the tension in your body. So that's a way of describing what stress is.
Good. So basically it does not only exist in your mind.
Yeah.
It permeates through your entire body too. And like she said, those who are massagers can tell if you are stressed or not because your muscles respond to your stress.
Tension.
Good. All right. So enough about what is stress. Now, what are the types of stress? So the first one is acute stress. I like acute stress. I don't know about you, but That is the good part of stress. All right. Okay. And the second one is episodic stress. Episodic stress. And then the
And
third
the
one.
big one is chronic
And I
stress.
know you don't like
I
chronic
don't like
stress.
stress.
My goodness. My goodness. My goodness. No way. No way. Nobody likes chronic stress because chronic stress is the one that slowly leads to death. Definitely. That is what we are actually talking about. So
That's the
acute,
one that is killing you
that
slowly,
is the
right?
one that kills you slowly. Chronic stress. All right. So with that being said, let's move on. And we are going to talk about what causes stress. What causes stress? So,
So before that, can you elaborate on the acute, episodic, and the chronic
oh
ones?
yes, yes. So acute stress basically is the stress that comes on and then it goes away. So I will use an example. And thank you for bringing that up. An example of acute stress or acute stressful situation is if you are scared of dogs and a dog charges at you. It may not even be any, attack dog or any kind of dog that is perceived as dangerous. But because you are afraid of dogs, when a dog charges at you, you receive some form of energy, some form of strength, such that you can do a sprint. In fact, if your kids are about there, of somebody's day, they would think like you run a marathon. You are like a good sprinter. Why? Because you are able to run away from danger. That is what acute stress makes you do. And then, as soon as the dog is called back by their owner and the dog stops, your stress level goes down. Your heart may still be racing a little bit for some time. Your heart, your pressure may also be a little high at that time. But the good thing is that it is an acute stressful situation. It goes down once that danger or perceived attack is removed. So acute stress only happens when a stressful situation is removed. It comes and then it goes. Basically, it's not permanent.
So, like you were saying, that is a good part of stress, right? So it makes your body alert,
Yes.
and we have the flight and the
Fear and flight,
fear and flight
fight and
mode.
flee, all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you have all these chemicals being released into your system acutely so that you can perform, that you can act. Then, like you're saying, that you can run away from danger
Yes.
because of all that your body is doing. When you are stressed, at that moment, you're able to perform extraordinary because of the
Stress.
fear
Yeah.
and the flight and fear alertness that kick in. So it becomes good when it's acute because you're acting right away
Acting
and
to avoid danger.
to avoid danger.
Extemporaneously, right there and then you got to avoid danger. So that stress is good. That stress is very good. And that is how we have survived. People talk about natural selection and stuff like that in genetics. It is part of the reasons why the human race is here because we can definitely respond to acute stress very well than most of the living things that God made. So acute stress is definitely important for our survivor.
And
And
also, like when you have a presentation or something big, like you're going to be in front of a board or you have an interview, you have something, before that starts, you have big preaching coming up, right? You are all stressed. You are all stressed. But it's just that your body is getting ready, is being alert for whatever is coming or whatever is about to happen. So before that happens, your body becomes so conscious and release some chemicals that will help you perform better because of whatever you are about to go through. So that can
definitely.
also be a good thing.
So that is acute stress. So uh, not all forms of stress is bad. Acute stress is good as long as, again, it is temporal. It just comes and goes. So acutely, we use acute stress. So the other form of stress is episodic stress. I don't know. Did I go ahead of myself or something?
Yeah, you did.
Episodic stress. That's the other form of stress. See if I can go back to my slides. I don't know why I jumped. So episodic stress is basically the form of stress that basically what you do is it comes but in episodes. I mean, in simple terms, if you can remember what we talk about some of you who watch episodes of shows, right? There's an episode, there is a season, and then you watch all the episodes in that season. So it is a predictable kind of stress. It's like this is going to happen this time, this is going to happen this time, that's going to happen that time. And because it is that way, you know when it's happening and when it's not. So uh, it is bad, but it's not as bad as chronic stress. So episodic stress comes and goes, and it can be linked to, say, your children are in college or they go to some kind of a high school where you have to pay a lot of money. So every time they're about to go, the stress of finding that money comes, right? So that is an episode right there, right? So so that happens, and when that happens, you have no control over it, right? It's an episodic stress. That is all that is happening, but it is predictable. Every time your kids are going to school, you need to raise that funds. So that stress comes and goes, and once college is over, that stress may be completely removed. So that's what I'm saying, that it is not good just because it is a little more repetitive. It's still coming and going, but it is not as good as the acute. It's not as bad as the chronic stress. However, it is worse than acute stress just because it is repeating itself.
So can we say that going to work, maybe your 8-hour shift, can be episodic because you're predicting that when you get to work, that 8 hours is so stressful. So it comes and go. The next day, maybe after your shift is over, you are all relaxed and okay. Then the next day, you know that it's coming. Can we term that as episodic stress?
Yeah. If for work, I would not term it as episodic. It's more like serious stuff because it's not going to be just one time, right? It is not going to be just one time. I mean, if you're going to be working in a company, you are obviously going to be doing stuff by yourself for a long time. Everyday thing. That is more chronic. That is more chronic than what I would think as an episode. So I think for that one, it is it is worse. It is worse. I don't know about, what do you think?
I don't know. Maybe it comes and goes. So maybe if you're able to manage it whilst it's happening, it wouldn't be as bad though.
If you're able to manage it while it is happening, it won't be as bad. But it is going to be for a long time. So basically, I don't think that can be just let be. You can't just say that, this thing is going to be, it's my job and whatever. It's still going to eventually become a chronic situation. And chronic stress, as we know, is not
So
the
if
one.
you're going to work there for maybe 20 years and it's going to be repetitively, like every 8 hours you're stressed, every 8 hours is going to tend to be what, chronic.
It's going to tend to be chronic. Yeah. Because obviously, as we have said, it is something that is going to be happening all the time. So chronic stress happens. So that leads us to what is chronic stress then. So chronic stress is the kind of stress that is continuously happening. It is happening all the time. It does not stop. Chronic stress does not stop. And that is what is bad about it. And we are going to understand why chronic stress is not good, but acute stress is, in a few slides as we move forward. All right. So, what causes stress is what we are going to talk about now. What causes stress? And is it something that some people can avoid? Okay. So, the first one I have written down here is worry. Stress is caused by chronic worrying or extensive worry. If you are worried over anything, no matter what it is, for a long time, you are going to be stressed. So that's number one cause of stress. I don't know if you want to take the next one or if you have something else to talk about.
Financial problems. If you are, it's part of worry because you are worried about your finances. You are not able to meet ends needs. You feel like you're not making enough money, and you feel like your responsibilities are increasing, and maybe you have overstretched yourself. You are doing this project here, you are doing projects there, you are taking care of your kids. They are heading towards college. You have no savings, and overall, you feel like financially you are in trouble. So that stress will be there, and it may be chronically because it's not being solved.
Wow, wow, wow. That is definitely serious. That is serious. So basically, chronic stress is something that is bad, and worrying, number one, financial problems, as she has said, maybe something that, so basically, if we think about it, we're talking about the thing is continuous. If in 1 month something happened because of your job situation, maybe they laid off people, you will definitely get stressed because you're thinking about the bills. But then the following month, you get your job, you get a new job, and everything is situated. That stress is acute, it's gone. But if it is your job situation is this way, your bill situation is that way, and it does not change, meanwhile, you cannot change your situation. So every day you are financially struggling and you are not able to overcome worrying about a finance, then it will land you into chronic stress. Some people are able to manage poverty perfect. Nobody even, they don't even feel like they don't have anything.
Manage poverty.
Yes, of course. Some people are poor and they don't even know they are poor. They feel like they're good. If that's your situation, then what we're talking about would be like nothing to you because you are good. You don't feel any worry. You don't feel like there's anything wrong with your situation. And
Maybe
that's
the
a coping
person,
strategy.
maybe the person has not overstretched him or herself.
Mhm.
Maybe the person has a location or live in a place that the mortgage or the monthly
Rent.
payments that is not overwhelming, and the person is not having this huge project somewhere that they have to keep contributing money, so such a person is living within their means. Then they are not stressed because they are able to handle their situation. But if you are such a person that every project you want to jump in, everything you want to do, meanwhile you know that your income is not sufficient, then you put yourself under undue stress because there is no way that you are able to manage all the responsibilities that are being thrown at you.
Right, 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 right. So that is your way of looking at it. If that person feels like they're good, even though they don't have enough, but
Mhm,
they're good,
mhm.
then that's good for them.
There is no
There's no
stress.
stress. They
Mhm,
have lived. They have learned to live within their means,
mhm.
however big or small that is.
Right.
They are good, and that's what Paul said. Right? I'm able to live like I have. If I don't have anything, I don't also cry about it for people to know that I don't have anything. So you're not worried about your present situation each time of at any time t or whatever whenever wherever you are or wherever situation you find yourself in, you are good with it. So in that case, then you don't have any problems. But I need you to share the stream and also click and show us your comments. We If you allow the system, it's going to make you able to share your comments and we can see your comments live. I don't know if you're watching from Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching from. If you allow the system, it's going to let you be able to share your comments with that. On thumbs up is definitely also loved. I see some people already with a thumbs up right there. All right, so let's move forward. The other cause of stress is social problems. Now that's huge. Social problems, I don't know, but since we just talked about some marriage problems, I would talk about relationship problems like marriage. If married couples are struggling to keep their marriage enjoyable, imagine how stressful that situation is going to be. That is like a persistent worry, persistent stress, chronic stress situation, and that can undo your health quick. Why? Because you live with this husband or wife who is not going to change to be the way you want them to. You can't change them, and yet you cannot also accept who he or she is. So everything about them is worrying you. They step out, you are worried. They come home, you are worried. I mean, imagine you are. I mean, we don't take marriage lightly, and we know many people know that when you're marrying, it's for life, right?
Mhm.
And if you are going to be in a lifelong relationship, and this person is stressing you out, just imagine how much stress that can lead to, how much chronic stress that can lead to. So, with that being said, we know that there are coping strategies. We're going to talk about those. So we don't leave the stream. We're going to talk about how to overcome some of these stressful situations, and hopefully that will benefit you. Do you want to add anything to that?
Let's
Social
go to
problems.
for
Okay, we go to four then.
career and jobs. So, like some jobs are such that there are deadlines that you have to meet every now and then. Like I alluded to that, if you're stressed 8 hours in a day, is it considered stress, chronic or episodic? And you said it's chronic because you're going to stay at that job for a long time. So I think if you have guidelines that you have to follow at your job, you know, you have to remain professional. Even if somebody is being rude to you or if somebody is not acting well, you are expected to be professional. And if you are not careful, that can be a little stressful because you are like, oh my God, this person is talking to me this way, but I have to act that way, you know. So the guidelines at work can be a little stressful, and the deadlines too can also be stressful. That you are almost every time meeting a deadline.
You have
Every
to meet a
week you have
deadline.
to meet a
You
deadline.
have to meet some numbers.
You have to meet some numbers.
Oh my goodness,
Make
my
certain
goodness,
calls
my
during
goodness,
the day.
my goodness. I know what I'm talking about. Those of you who are in my career, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yes, meeting deadlines, working with some numbers, making sure that you meet some standards, and you know sometimes you're not given enough time to accomplish those, so you become very stressed, very stressed. And I mean, you can change your job, you can, but maybe that also brings with it its own stress. Maybe you have to cut down on your income. Maybe you have to go back to school to do some different career to avoid that stressful situation. So then you end up just being there and become chronically stressed. So careers and jobs can definitely lead to chronic stress, and that's very serious because it's not one of those that you can easily change to make things work for you. So now let's move on to the next area. The next item I want to talk about: how does stress actually affect the body?
So before that, how would I know that I'm stressed? Because maybe I go to work, I do my thing, I feel like sometimes I'm under pressure and I'm under stress. But how would I know?
How would you
So
know?
what are the symptoms?
Good. That's a
Yeah.
very important question. We didn't write anything about what are the symptoms. I think we are going to see some of them though in our answers. But one of it is feeling that you have actually lost control. You don't have control over the situation. If there's something that you have to achieve, but then you do everything that you can and it feels like you have lost control, that is a sign that you are being stressed. Control or loss of control over everything means stress. That is how our nature is. If you lose control over the stuff that you feel like you should have control over, that's a sign that stress is right there. Even if you don't feel anything physically, that's a sign that you are definitely getting into stress. The other thing is your heart will be racing. That's what I'm saying. We're going to lead it. We're going to feel that you may feel sweat. You may have sleepless nights. You may feel like everything is not working out, and sometimes it can lead to anxiety, panic attacks. Why? Because you feel like you have lost control over what you feel you should have control over. So those are some of the signs that show that you are in stress.
I think some people's symptoms will be like a lot of headaches. Every
Headaches.
now and then they will have headache or tension headache or migraine. Okay, so if you feel like you are getting a lot of headaches over a long, like every once a while, then you realize that whenever you're stressed or whenever
That's when
you
it
are under
comes.
pressure, you have headache, you have migraine, something you feel like you are under tension. Then that could be that you are experiencing stress.
Yes. So stress, like she's also saying, manifesting in some acute health problems like headaches
Headaches.
and migraines, cluster headaches, tension headaches, even tension in your own body, feeling weak. Stress can lead you to have weakness, joint pain, and all those can come from stress. As we move forward, we'll be able to show you why. And I think that's actually where we are. How does stress affect the body? How does stress actually affect the body? We're going to explain that quickly. So, you want to start off?
Go.
So, basically, stress, as God made us, naturally is good. And when you are stressed, using the acute stress as an example, like a dog is chasing you, your body will release a hormone or a chemical called cortisol, along with others like norepinephrine or epinephrine. As a matter of fact, both of them are released. So norepinephrine, epinephrine, cortisol will be released. And all that the body does when they see this is that it's going to tell the body that there is danger. So fear or fight or flee situations is either you are going to fight that danger or you're going to run away from that danger. So I use that analogy of a dog chasing somebody who is scared of dogs. When that happens, you are acutely stressed, and so those chemicals will be released. And when they release, what they do, the good part is that they give you the energy to run away from that danger. They give you the strength to run away from that danger. They give you the power to leap. Some people can leap and run sprints. Like you will look at them and you will say, really, you were able to run that fast just because of this dog? Yes, because they were stressed. These chemicals released and they got strength. So when cortisol is released, one of the things that cortisol does is it gives you energy, And I don't know if you want to add some more because I think we have it on our next slide too.
Yeah, so more like glucose in your blood.
Yes.
So that gives you that energy to run as never before. It strengthens your heart. Give your heart start racing, like the heart rate increases because your body is getting ready for the flee and the fight. And also, I think you release it causes inflammation.
It reduces,
inflammation.
Reduces inflammation.
So you don't feel pain. Even if you are hurt during the process, you don't feel it.
You don't feel it. Because you are running away from danger. That's what the body is being told. That this stress that is here, there's danger. It's a perceived danger, perceived threat. Basically, that's what stress is. So your body sees that the chemical and it's like, boom, let me give this guy some glucose. So your glucose in your blood will shoot up. Let me give this guy some blood pressure so that he can pump blood and run. Let me give this guy some heart rate. Let his heart beat faster so that he can run. He needs all that energy to be able to run away from that stressful situation that he has seen. And so that's what we're talking about. So your blood glucose goes up, your blood pressure, which is HBP, goes up, and then your heart rate also goes up, all because of the stress that you find yourself in. And that is why acute stress is good, because when these things go up, like Gifty said, you receive strength. Your heart becomes stronger enough to deal with whatever danger that you are seeing. So it's good. But then when it becomes chronic, when all your body is seeing is every day your heart is going up, every day your heart rate is going up, every day your blood sugar is up because of the stress, chronic stress, remember? So now it's moved from acute to chronic. And because it's chronic, basically the stress is persistent. You are persistently stressed all the time. And so the glucose will continue to be staying in your blood because your body feels like you need it to fight the danger, which you have perceived, whether it is true or not. The body needs to keep that glucose there. The body needs your blood pressure to continue to be high because, again, it feels like you need to get that pressure up to be able to run away. So that is cortisol continuously being released. And then your body needs to have your heart rate up there because, again, it's seeing that you are in a dangerous situation. You need to have your heart beating fast to run away or fight. That is actually the what we will call the pharmacology of cortisol. That's what cortisol is helping you. Norepinephrine and epinephrine are helping you to be able to overcome stressful situations. So if your stress is chronic or continuous, let's use that word. If your stress is continuous, it doesn't stop, it doesn't abate, then all these things will continue to be released. And what happens when you have elevated sugar in your blood over a long time because your stress is also over a long time? Diabetes. My goodness. I need my thing to be able to play diabetes, right? My goodness. Not that we like diabetes. We are not clapping for it, but we want to show that we are making a point here, right? So that is one. The next one is what? Hypertension. Hypertension is what is going to be the result of chronic stress because, again, cortisol is not stopping. Norepinephrine is not stopping. Epinephrine is not stopping. The body feels like you are under some danger because you are stressed. So they got to be released. And the more they release, the more your blood pressure stays up, the more your blood sugar stays up, and the more your heart stays up, running faster. Even though you are not running any race, your heart is bump, bump, bump. There's something coming, bump, bump, bump. There's something happening. Your pressure is beating. Why? Because it feels like the stress that is happening is danger, And so that leads to heart attacks.
So like if you are consistently at this stage, like your high blood pressure, your pressure is high, your sugar level is high, you are under stressful situation every now and then. Anything, any other thing that hit you, like family wise, other things that your heart is not able to contain or to be able to hold on to, then that will lead to heart attack
It will
or
lead to heart
stroke,
attack. Oh my goodness.
because
My goodness.
constantly your pressure has
My
been high.
goodness. My goodness. My goodness. Heart attack. I'm playing that because that is huge. The reason why I want to draw your attention to it now, younger people are getting heart attacks more than they used to. In the times of old, when you hear somebody has a heart attack, they may be older person who had diabetes, maybe uncontrolled for a long time, or maybe an older folk that has been smoking for a long time, and then you see heart attack. But these days, young and you feel they are healthy because they probably don't look sick, but then the stress has been bubbling up in them, financial stress. They want to build this mansion, and they got the mansion now. They can't pay the property taxes. They can't pay the mortgage. The financial stress. They have lived in a way that they cannot go down anymore because then their friends will feel like they are losing. Financial stress, and boom, one day is heart attack because of chronic stress. So stress is leading people to debilitating diseases as well as even early deaths. Why? Because it is chronic and it is causing these symptoms that we are talking about. So hypertension, diabetes, and then stroke. Stroke is also, a combination of diabetes, unmanaged diabetes, and hypertension will even lead to stroke by itself. So that is how stress affect the body. You have anything to add, or should we move on? So definitely we have to be very careful about stress. Now, another way is that we're just still explaining how stress can be harmful. Cortisol by itself is inflammatory modulating. What I mean is that cortisol by itself slows or reduces inflammation. It's an anti-inflammatory modulation, is what I should say. It slows inflammation. And inflammation basically is a process of disease causation. When there is something wrong with your body, inflammation happens and then your body heals. So in simple terms, when you have cortisol slows your body down from feeling that it's sick all the time, so that inflammatory properties, inflammatory substances are not released into your blood, so that you are always healthy. Now, after some time though, when cortisol has been continuously released over and over because you are chronically stressed, remember, cortisol release is linked to stress. So if you are continuously stressed all the time, then cortisol release no longer prevents inflammation. What it does is actually it causes other inflammatory cytokines to be activated, other inflammatory chemicals, I should say, in the blood to be activated and in the body to be activated. And now they become way higher. Now they are causing inflammation here and there. So chronic inflammation becomes the result of chronic stress. Chronic inflammation becomes the result of chronic stress, which is not fun. I don't think that is something that anybody wants to have. Chronic stress, I don't know, but I don't want to have chronic stress. And I'm pretty sure that you don't want to have chronic stress either, because chronic stress is going to result in chronic inflammation. And nobody is supposed to go that route. So,
And having chronic inflammation means that you have aches all over your body, your joints. You feel pain at your joints, your waist, everywhere hurts. When you have chronic inflammation.
Leads to several other diseases, including, I think, what you're alluding to is like arthritis, right?
Arthritis.
That is chronic inflammation can result in osteo or even rheumatoid arthritis. Because it's all inflammatory mediated disease. All those diseases come by inflammation. And so if you are chronically stressed, most likely you can also have arthritis. My goodness. See how diseases are linked. So your stress that you are getting from your marriage, your job, is now leading to arthritis. My goodness. Oh man. That little stress that you have is leading to arthritis, osteoarthritis. And not just that, stress leads to diabetes. Other inflammatory mediated diseases all are going to increase because you are chronically stressed.
Stressed.
So stress is not good. Stress is not good. And so how do we move forward then? As I think we have already talked about that chronic inflammation leading to from chronic stress is therefore implicated in several diseases. I think Gifty mentioned arthritis. Whatever disease you can talk of, diabetes, even heart disease like heart failure and
Stroke.
stroke, liver function, what do you call Alzheimer's, everything that may be traced to inflammation can be traced into chronic stress. And so stress, that is why as our title says that slowly it kills you. If you can eliminate stress, your health is going to bump up like that. And so I think in the few slides, we're going to talk about how to do that. And I think we have already started. For the first one is what? Exercise. How do we manage stress? First one is what? Exercise. Exercising, you want to take that?
Exercising will release this hormone
Endorphins, yeah.
endorphins
Yeah.
that will help calm down all the cortisol release. So
Because you feel good.
the hormones are there to relax your muscle, relax your body, because you're releasing this chemical called endorphins, and that help give you stress-free, relaxes your brain, calm you down, and you feel very
feel good.
relaxed
Feel good.
after exercise. You feel really good after exercise. So exercise is one huge thing that we can manage stress. We keep hearing that, oh, I don't have time. I'm too busy. I'm too that, I'm too that. If you think about the effects of stress on your body, I think we shouldn't use the excuse that we are too busy. Exercise is very important. If you can fit into your schedule, that will go a long way, will release a lot of stress in your soul. So maybe you can do like 30 minutes before you shower every morning. I've tried to incorporate this into my daily activity. Before you take a shower, go somewhere in your house. You don't have to go to the gym. You'll be like, oh, it takes too much of my time. Just find a way, to fit in 30 minutes, 15, 20 minutes a day. Just skip, jump, do the treadmill if you have it, or just go online, Google exercise, 30 minutes exercise. Something will come up. Then you just exercise your body. If you do that, you release these chemicals that will tame the cortisol release in your body. And that will help a lot with the pressure, with the blood glucose, with all that we are talking about. Exercise is very important.
My goodness, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Exercise, right? Exercise. That is deep. Now, exercise, like she said, exercise, and the good thing is when you exercise, you are getting all the other health benefits. Exercise helps prevent cancers. Exercise helps with your blood pressure. Exercise helps whatever, everything. Blood glucose. Exercise helps in every disease situation that you can talk about. And so if I were you, I would incorporate exercise. In the beginning of the year, we did a video and a live show that talked about some of the resolutions that we have to have for the year 2023. And exercise is number one. If you don't exercise after watching this stream, please start exercising, because you cannot watch us and not incorporate exercise in your daily routine. Exercise will do you good. And so that is the first thing we will talk about as far as managing or how to manage stress, chronic stress is concerned. The other one is sleep. Now, I'll start off with sleep, and I'll pause if you have anything to add. So for sleep, what we have also come to know is that if you have good quality sleep, now by good quality sleep, we're talking about sleeping from 6 to 8 hours a day. And then not just the kind of sleep that every little beep on your phone, you pick the phone up and you check your Facebook status. Even though you are asleep, you hear the beep. Oh, somebody messaged you, somebody IM'd you, and you pick up your phone. That is not the kind of sleep we're talking about. We're talking about a kind of sleep that you basically relax and have deep sleep, REM sleep, sleep that is uninterrupted. Nobody wakes you up when you go to bed. You tell people, you tell your phone, you tell your Facebook buddies, you tell everybody, "I'm going to bed. This is the time for me to to sleep," and you go to bed. So how do you tell them? You turn off your notifications. You set your phone to airplane mode or whatever it is, and sleep. Even if it is not long enough, as long as you're not interrupted, every time you're sleeping, you get a better sleep. And when you do that, your stress levels will go down. Now, honey, I have seen that when I don't sleep good, it actually shows in my day. You know, you become irritable because you are stressed. Your body is already exhibiting the signs of stress right there. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. So sleep is definitely something that we should definitely take serious and watch if you want to overcome stress and you don't want to be dying slowly by stress.
And if you have a good night's sleep, your cells tend to rejuvenate or build, refreshes itself. So having a good deep sleep is very necessary. Your cells all recover from the daily stress. So you have to pause, put everything into mute, or just forget about everything, turn off the TV, turn off your phone, and just have a good night's sleep.
So
At
have a
least
good
for
night's sleep.
6 hours for adults, 6 to 8 hours if you can spare that hours to sleep. Very important.
The other thing is social connections. Social connections. Some people, especially in the US, you can live here and not have any friend. At least from my experience, it is easy because I mean, you go to work, you come home, and tired. You just want to hit the bed if you can. Sometimes you come late and you have to eat and struggle through to make sure you go to bed the next day. So you are always like fast moving, like a car. You are moving back and forth, and you may not be able to make the friends that you have unless you are probably in a church. Then once a while you have a friend at church that may call you, or maybe a church program that will make you social, have friends to talk to. But if people who are stressed are people who usually don't have any social connections. They even their own families are not talking. They are not talking to them. It's just work, school, or whatever, and food and sleep. Work, school, sleep. Work, school, sleep. So they are they are not really connected to anybody. That is a recipe for disaster. As a matter of fact, it's not just stress. You're going to have problems on the other side. Depression, anxiety, as well as other issues that can come. So social connections as a way to manage stress. It's very important that we have social connections. And then the other one is delegation.
Now, the social connection. What's the benefits? Like, you interact with your friends, you see your friends. So maybe if you go to church and you see your friend, you talk. You share experiences. It relaxes you. So, like, coming together, you see this person, you say hello, you go to another person. There is this connection. Maybe if you have some girlfriends that sometimes you go out together, you sit down, you relax, and you share experiences. Sometimes you hear someone's experience, then you be like, oh, mine is not bad at all. That can ease the stress a little bit. But if you keep to yourself and you are always alone, you are always doing your own thing, there is no interaction with anybody, your chance of stressing is very high. And all the disadvantages of being stressed will hit you hard. So having social connections is very, very important. Go to church, find a book club, join a gym, exercise team, whatever you can find people that you can relax around, share experiences, and talk. That can definitely help with your stress.
Definitely, definitely. My goodness. My goodness. So she has broken it down to what actually happens when you have social connections. And sometimes your problem that is making you worrying, that is making you stressed out. If you had shared with somebody may have, just given you a hint, and that would be the solution.
Yes.
But because you don't talk to anybody, there's no social connection to anybody, not even to your own husband. Sad to say, some people don't even talk to their own spouses, and others don't talk to their parents or their kids. Others is like when they come home, when they are coming, everybody is scared. Why? Because they're already coming. They're already coming stressed, and so you don't want to stress them out again. So
No, like you come from work and like, why is this here? Why is this on the floor? Why is the lights on? Why is this that?
yeah,
So you are so stressed. So nobody even want to come close to you,
right.
right? So you don't strike conversational. Like you are not approachable. Everybody want to run away from you because you're carrying your stress from work to home.
To home.
You know, so that doesn't help. So you have to open up, try and start conversation. Relax around your family than to be so uptight and just keep everything within you and you're stressed
My
out.
goodness. My goodness.
Okay, yeah.
My goodness. It is easier said than done, Because when I come home and I'm
Hmm.
stressed, I tell
Why
you,
is
and
the
I
light
see the
on?
lights are on. When I'm paying for nobody using the lights, 6 lights or 8 lights, and my son is the only one watching TV on top. Like, why is the 8 lights on?
Hmm.
You know? So if you don't take care, you will speak and then nobody will talk to you. Oh my goodness. All right. So social connection. So basically, what we're trying to get at is, like she said, don't be so uptight. Life is, let it go easy a little bit.
Yeah.
Let life be fun. Sometimes you just have to play with the kids, and that in itself, the connections that you have will reduce your stress.
Yeah, you have a game at home. You have
Hmm.
something that
Something.
relaxes the whole family. Come together, play, or step out, take a walk
Take a
together.
walk.
That all help with the stress.
My goodness, my
Yes.
goodness. All right. The other one is delegation. And I'll start with delegation. So some of us, we don't want to delegate, especially if you're a leader, as a pastor, a supervisor, a manager, an executive. You want to do everything right. You want to make sure that this one was done perfect. So you do everything by yourself. And as a matter of fact, sometimes we do far more than is expected of us. You want to prove everybody that you are ahead. You are at the head of the place. You want to make sure that everything is working out the best because you are in charge. And what that leads to is stress because you don't delegate. You are doing everything from A to Z, everything and in between. It is you because you want it some way.
Mhm.
That is a recipe for chronic stress, especially if you're going to be in that position for a long time. And so the way to overcome stress is to be able to delegate, trust people enough to take charge of certain things. It is not bad to let somebody handle your work and watch them do it, and then once they have done it and they are done, you can go through and make the necessary corrections. That would have relieved you the stress of doing it from the beginning to the end. And by doing that, you also give people the ability to also shine. But some people want to be leaders all their life, African leaders. They don't want to leave their presidency. So they want to make sure that they are holding everything close so that nobody else can do it. And they know it better than everybody. That's not how life is. If you do that, you are stressing up, and all that it takes is your blood sugar going up for some time and your diabetes coming up, and then stroke following up, and then you losing your life. Or even if you don't die, becoming weak to the point that you can't do what you wanted to do in the future, can't take care of your family anymore because you are not delegating. So delegate people. Don't do everything yourself. As long as you have the people, it's one thing if nobody wants to. We're going to talk about the other side, which is number 5, being assertive. As long as there are people willing to help, give some of the work to them, monitor people doing it, help them do it, and enrich your own experience. Because sometimes letting people even take charge of certain things that belong to you shaping to your own understanding of how things must be done, so that it's not always you that can do it. And then doing that too, if you are not there, that company or that business or that church can continue. So please delegate, because if you don't, you are going to live in perpetual stress. And I think that is not what anybody wants to do. I'm pretty sure that nobody wants to be in stress. So definitely try and delegate. And the other thing,
With the delegation,
mhm,
I can say like as a mother in the house, you want the house to be
clean.
clean,
Hmm.
to be like the kids to like be orderly. Everything should be perfect, and you've taken everything by yourself. and you are washing the bowls, you are cleaning, you are wiping, you are doing laundry, you are ironing, and at the same time, you are a full-time worker. You have to go to work full-time and come back home and do the cooking and everything. Definitely you're going to be stressed. So
Definitely.
you have to learn to delegate. So the kids, everybody has a turn to wash bowls, to do the utensils, to clean, to mop. So just give some of the work to the kids. Let them help you. If your husband is available, ask for help.
My
Ask him to
goodness, my
help.
goodness, my goodness.
Take the trash.
Oh my goodness. We do, we
So you
do.
have to delegate. You can't do it all. We can't be superwoman. We will get
Burnt out.
overwhelmed. We'll be burnt out. So please delegate. Give some of the work. And sometimes if you're not able to keep up because you're so tired or stressed, take a break. Give yourself a little like time and take a nap or something. Then you can come to it and do it. But you don't want to be at that stressful situation and you are stressed when the house is dust and you're stressed and stressed, constantly stressed. That is not healthy. It's not going to help your health. So we should try and delegate and let other people also help us.
All right, all right, all right. Now the next one is assertiveness or being assertive. Now that is the opposite of the people delegating and giving you all the work. Some people too, if you tell them to delegate, they will not do anything. Everything. Oh, they say that if I delegate, I'll live a healthier life. So everything, they don't take part. They just give everything to their people. So they are a supervisor. They don't touch anything. Everything, everybody does it. They will be walking around doing nothing. And in that case, the people who are on the receiving end who become then stressed. So now you are always giving the work. You are at your job or wherever you are. Like she's using an example as the house. Now because she wants to she doesn't want to be stressed anymore. She's delegating. She's
Everything
making
to
me do
you.
the garbage. I'm doing the cooking. I'm doing the vacuuming. So at that point, I also have to be assertive. I hope that makes sense. So basically, there's a balance between delegation and assertiveness. So being assertive is also being able to tell your boss or whoever is delegating to you that, I can do this, this, and that, but I don't think I can do this. And it is fine. If you do it politely, they will understand. Tell them that, last time I was able to do this, it cost me 3 days of no sleep. And I don't think I'm able to do that because if I do that, my blood pressure may go up. And the person who is giving you will understand. So what they may do is probably split the job between you and another person instead of you, because you also want to prove that you can do it. Everything that is given you, you take it and you pile up work upon work and you cannot finish them. You are stressed. When you're going back to work, you are stressed. When Monday is coming, like tomorrow is Monday, you are stressed because you're going to go up and face some work that you have accepted to do that you could have told them that, you need help to finish this. I think I can finish this, but give me more time. Being assertive is how you also avoid being stressed because a lot of work has been put on you to do. So it doesn't matter which side of the coin you are. If you are a leader, learn to delegate. And if you are also on the other side who is receiving work, learn to be assertive. And you have to be smart about it. You can't just be cocky and say that, hey, I'm doing everything in this company. Nobody's doing anything. I think I don't know. You're calling for trouble. But if you reasonably talk to your bosses or your supervisors, let them know the consequences of you doing it on your health. They will know. They are human. Say, if I do this, I probably couldn't, but I think I may not be able to work next week if I'm able to do all this because I'm going to pull an all-nighter and I would need to catch up on sleep. Are you willing to do that? In that case, you do it and you know that you will have time to recuperate. So it's a balance between delegation and being assertive. Very important way to deal with work or jobs or career situations, ministry work, whatever it is, just to make sure that you have your sanity because all it takes is for you to go and hit the wall because of stress and then everything will come falling. Your leadership position will come crumbling. People will not even recognize that you were the one that was trying to kill yourself to finish everything on time. It will not work out. So that's very, very important. Definitely. I like that. So now let's move on. We are wrapping up, so don't leave yet. And the next one, how to manage stress, is to enjoy entertainment or music. If you are from where I am from, sometimes entertainment becomes a nuisance, because if you want to make money and you have to stop and go watch soccer or go watch some game, it may not be something you want to do. Money, am I kidding?
That's true.
Yeah.
You have to bring in the
You
money.
have to bring in the money. The mortgage is not waiting for you to go to the basketball game or the soccer game and come. If money is not coming, that bill is going to be out there, and it's going to be pressure. But there's got to be a strike of balance, between, having fun and enjoying, your kids, enjoying family and work. That's what comes to my mind on the last few shows that we had about cutting your coat according to your size. If you buy this mansion, that your job, if a little break from your job is going to make you lose it, then you actually stress yourself too much. So you have to plan all those in it, because you also matter. Your body is important. And so entertainment and music is good. Go to the movies. When new movies come out, try and go. Take your honey out. Go to the movies, enjoy yourself. Those bring down your stress. No matter how much stress you are, when you have the time to sit through a 2-hour movie or a 1-hour movie with your husband or with your wife, that brings down your stress. And then you renew yourself for not just your marriage, but for your work week or whatever you do. So entertainment is very important.
Yeah, music is also very good. Like it relaxes you. I think somebody shared this experience when I was watching this Facebook. She said that every morning in the house, like when she's getting the kids ready for school, it's so stressful. Uh, the kids are acting up, nobody's really listening to her, and it's all over. So, what she came up to release the stress, to manage the stress, is to put on music that everybody loves. So everybody will sing along as they get ready, as she gets the kids' food ready, the lunch bag, and dressing them up, everything. Everybody is calm because there is music playing in the house. So that was her way of managing her morning stress, because she realized that every morning everybody is stressed and people are crying, people are not acting well, and they don't want to go to school. They are doing all that. So she decided to turn the whole house like to play music that they love. So they all sing along as they get ready, and everybody's calm and relaxed because you are going to be a parent for a long time. So you have to find a way,
To make it
to
more
relax
fun.
the
Yeah.
environment so that everybody is all at ease.
Wow, Mike, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Entertainment in the house. My goodness. All right. So the next one is deep breathing. Don't leave, because you have more interesting ones. If you're looking on the screen, that last one that begins with S. My goodness, we can't wait to get there early enough. All right, deep breathing. So deep breathing, it's another way of releasing stress. No matter how many times you can, it is good if you can do it multiple times, especially in acute stress. That is good, and if it is chronic stress, it is good too. Deep breathing is very important. And we have a video on our channel that I actually sat through and did one type of deep breathing. I just want us to see it quickly, and then after that we'll continue. That way we won't have to talk about it so much. How do you do deep breathing? How do you do deep breathing? Let's see if we can watch this quickly. We're going to practice one breathing exercise. It's very easy to do. I may interject in between to say what I'm doing so that you could understand why I'm doing it. So, in the beginning, you sit in a comfortable seating position with your back straight, and make sure you are not in a noisy area. What I would do is, if you have an earphone, you put it on just to cut out every noise in the background. And with your back straight, you basically let your arms loose, and then you begin. So what you do is, you first close your eyes and focus on your own rhythm or your own breathing rhythm. And then you take a long but slow deep breath in through your nose. So I'm going to try that. Hold it in for as long as you can, and then breathe out or exhale through your mouth slowly. I'm going to do it one more time. Long, deep breath inside through your nose. Hold it in and exhale through your mouth. I'm going to do it again without saying anything so you can watch me. So you do this as many times as you can, and you would realize that if you were very anxious or if you were stressed before coming in, your breathing would be fast. But as you take in long, slow, deep breaths, your breathing becomes normalized. And when you are done, you slowly transition into your regular breaths. So don't just pick up yourself and walk away, but slowly open your eyes and take in with you the environment. Relax and then start breathing normally before you stand up and move. All right, so you can tell how easy it is to do breathing exercises, and so no matter how stressed you are, if you can incorporate that into your daily activities, you are definitely going to enjoy breathing, and your stress is going to go down. Whether it's an acute situation, you heard a big bad news, the first thing you do is you are panicking. Catch yourself. You may not be able to get time to go and sit and do like we're showing you, but at least remember that. Catch some breaths. 5. My son actually told me one day. Do you remember? I think
Yes.
he said that in school. What did they make them do?
Take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath, but they count. I think he said about 5 or so. That if they are throwing a tantrum or whatever and they are called on, they are told to take a deep breath. I'm like, oh, your teachers are smart. How did they know that? And then when you take a deep breath, you calm down. You calm down. Sometimes your heart will begin to beat fast. Why? Because remember, cortisol is released. Norepinephrine is released because of that stress that you had. But then if you catch yourself and then you take a deep breath, just slowly, then you are going to overcome whatever situation it is. So that is the deep breath part of the thing. The next one is eating healthy or healthy diets. Some people are stressed, but technically speaking, they are not doing anything about it. They are not doing anything about the stress in terms of their diet. They are eating oily, fatty meals. I don't know about you, but personally, when I eat heavy, fatty meal, I become weak because all the energy is going down to your stomach and your gut basically to digest and absorb. So sometimes you even begin to fall asleep after eating. Why? Because the diet is draining you. You don't want your stress on top of that. So what you eat is you eat plant-based diet, greens, and then also portion sizes, ensuring that you don't eat too much at a time. That will help you manage your stress, and you'll be able to take enough nutrients from the little chunks of food that you eat rather than to eat boom in one sitting, and all you do is you fall asleep, wake up stressed. I don't know if you want to add anything to it.
But some people do manage their stress by eating a lot. So when they are stressed, they reach out for food and they'll start eating.
My goodness.
That's the way of them
My
coping.
goodness. That's a coping strategy.
That's their coping mechanism that they use. They eat. And sometimes some people do more like the sweets. Some people coping mechanism is to find something sweet.
And something sweet will make them.
Ice cream, a whole
ice cream. My
bucket
goodness.
of ice cream.
My
That's their
goodness.
way of coping with stress. And more like carbohydrates food, like you'd be craving for starchy foods. So that is not a good way to manage stress. That is adding on to your problems.
Yeah, you are going to be stressed again in the future because
Yes.
of the diabetes that you may
Hmm.
get
Yeah.
along the way or the blood pressure. So that is very important that you don't rob Peter to pay Paul. You're using sugar, sweet because you are stressed. Deal with the stress in the ways we have shown you so
Yes.
far rather than to use food, carbs, sugar diets and stuff to overcome your stress. So
And like with that too, if you can take away the stressor, whatever is making you stress, that would be a good way to also manage your stress. You know that when you do this, that, you are seriously stressed. Or if you don't have enough time to prepare for something upcoming, you are stressed. So there should be a way that you can look into it. This, whenever I'm given this assignment, I'm extremely stressed. So what can I do differently? I have to find a way to manage my time, so that I don't get into that point of being overwhelmed and stressed. So, and the stresses too can be like somebody stressing you out. If you can stay away from that person, that can also help.
my
So we
goodness.
should be able to identify the stressor and stay away from it if that's possible.
My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. That is definitely important. We did not even think about it when we were getting these slides together, but that is very important. Remove the source of the stress. The only thing is sometimes that
You
source
can
cannot be removed. For example, if it's your husband or your wife,
or remove your
you cannot
husband.
remove them. But you want them to go back to the last video and see how people remove their their girlfriend, the girlfriend
Remove
removing
them.
their boyfriend because of stress.
Mm.
No, that is not what we are saying. But removing the cause of the stress, in that case, that would be solving the problem that you have with that person,
Right.
not just
Talk it out.
talk it
Come
out,
for
see a counselor or
solution.
whatever it is, and find a solution to whatever is causing the stress. Like we explained in a career situation or your job situation, you are giving too much and you can't handle it. Talk to them politely. So that is removing the source of the strength. Of the stress.
Right.
And sometimes if that won't work, you have to change jobs. Change the jobs.
Mm.
Change job or change the career. Whatever it is that will make the stress go away, with the exception of killing your spouse. And we'll go back to that video, and as I said, we'll talk about it with relationship experts, hopefully next week or some other time. But definitely do remove the source of the stress if it's possible. If
And
not,
if you've overstretched yourself, like your responsibilities are increasing, try and cut down on those so that you don't have to stay in long for work, pick extra hours just to keep up. If that is stressing you up out, find a way to go around it. Hold some of the projects, so that you don't overstretch yourself to the point that you are so stressed that,
you're building a house
yeah,
here, you're buying here, you're
mhm,
doing this, you have this car
too
payments.
much
Let some go.
responsibilities. Yeah.
Let some go. And actually, I was speaking to a church group about this, and the way I came about it is uh, try not to have control over every situation. Some of us, especially the men, it was a men's group that we spoke. It's always we want to have control. We want to have control over everything, whether it's in the house, whether it's in our job, career. We want to have control. There are certain things you don't have control over. Let them go,
Mhm.
because the more you fight to have control, the more stressful it is. And so, if you figure out that hey, this and that, I don't think I can handle it, let it go rather than to dwell on it. I have to do it. And meanwhile, anytime you do it, you fail.
Mm.
Anytime you do, you've tried and it keeps bothering you. Unless you are not stressed by trying again, because I like to win when I'm doing stuff. I don't want to give up on stuff, right? But then if it becomes a problem that is stressing me, then I better find another solution or leave it and try something else. So you don't have complete control over every life situation. Your kids, you may not have control over every one of your kids. Some of them will give you a hard time. You just do what you can, and the rest you give to God and ensure that you are guiding them. But you cannot control their lives. You cannot say that this is what I want you to do over my dead body. If you do that, no, then you're going to be stressed and die, like you're saying. So make sure that you do what you can, humanly possible in your home. You cannot control your wives to do what you want all the time. Sometimes you can come to an agreement over certain situations, over certain things, and compromise. but you may not be able to change everything about your husband or about your wife. So are you going to be stressed through the marriage all your life? No. Give it up and say that this one I've lost control over it and it's fine. At least I'm able to do this other thing. And encourage yourself with the things that you have control over. And those you don't have control over, let them go. That is the essence of life. Because if you want to control everything, everything must come under your obedience. Everything must work the way you want it. You are going to be stressed because that's not how life is. You are going to be stressed. God forbid, and you're going to be sick. So let certain things fly when they may. A little digression. The next one is sex controlling or helping you to manage stress. Sex. How can sex help? I don't know, honey, if you want to start or you want me to start.
So having sex can really release your stress. So having sex, what's the sex like? Coming together as lovers, right? You see that you you have somebody, the comfort is coming from the person, the love, the oneness, the unity. So whatever you are going through, because you have your partner and you are having that intimate time together, you feel like your stress level goes down. So I can say that sex really have a way of managing stress.
How though? Did you
How?
how you
I
say?
said,
My goodness, my
so I
goodness.
said that like as you were together, right? Uh you share the love together, the unity, the oneness, the intimacy, you know, you have become one at that moment. So you feel like you are not handling this difficulty alone or whatever you are going through. You are not alone. You have somebody that you are sharing that with. So that will really help manage the stress, whatever situation you are in.
My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Man on the live. Man on the live. I need to hear the clap and I need to hear you commenting. My goodness. Man. Yeah, I actually agree. I do agree. Because sex emotionally is connected. You know, sex is connection through emotions and through the mind, your soul, basically, and your body. And as you began when you started, you said that stress can even lead to tension in your shoulders or in your entire body. And people who do massage, they can tell if you're stressed or not because of the tension in your muscles, right? And so if you have sex, because of its emotional nature, it will relax you. That's what you said. And it will also grant you the physical relaxation. So physical relaxation, emotional relaxation, and sometimes there are other forms of relaxation that you can think about, mental relaxation, you know. So definitely sex can relax you. But I think that this topic we have to actually get another person to also come and help out because we are on the surface, all right? We are on the surface. But at least you know if you are married and you are in a serious relationship, you know that the times that sex work best is when you have seen that after that you are relaxed. That is because your stress has gone down. And sometimes uh, having sex will actually prevent you from becoming stressed in the future because you're already relaxed emotionally and mentally. When you're facing a new challenge, you can withstand it. A deprived person will easily get stressed because already their body is
Not
tensed
relaxed.
longer, not relaxed, So once that happens, you definitely are going to have better outcomes in terms of your stress. But definitely share the stream. I'm still trying to share as we move on because this is important stuff that we're talking about. Sex will help you overcome or manage your stress. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Now we have some comments that are coming through, even though I don't see it on here, but I see it on our phone. So we're just going to read them and see if where did it go? Honey, open it again for me, please. So that is one, sex. All right. The other thing that we didn't put here, but that is important, is having a relationship with your maker. That is very important. If you feel like you are losing control over issues and over situations, that is when you become stressed. What if you have a mindset that tells you that, hey, whatever you cannot control, there's somebody up there that can control for you. There's somebody up there that's taking care of you. There's somebody up there that knows the future from the beginning. That will relax you. Oh my goodness. And I can't tell you how much I have benefited. I can't tell you how much I have benefited just in the knowledge of the fact that I have a higher power by my side. It would take me hours to just talk about that part of my stress reduction. So if you are not religious, come on, go to Christ, get born again and talk and see what we are talking about. Religion, in terms of having a relationship with your maker, not just going to church or going to the mosque and coming, but I'm talking about having a personal relationship with your maker, will give you a sense of belonging, a sense of having control. And even when you lose control, there's somebody up there that has the ultimate control over the situation that you face. And with that, your stress level goes down. Trust me, I've had people talk to me and say, why you look like nothing bothers you? It's not that nothing bothers me. I'm managing my stress because I throw the stuff that I don't have control over to him, to the man up there. Actually in scripture, in Philippians, the scripture says what? Scripture says that be anxious for nothing, but in all things with prayer and supplication, let your requests be made known unto God. And the one who gives peace, that God will give you, he will answer you and make your mind have peace. That is beyond, see if you can read it. I think it's Philippians 4:4, if I'm not mistaken. So he will cause peace to overwhelm you. And remember, stress is the absence of peace. You don't have peace in your situation. You don't have peace in your life because something is wrong. You cannot control something. Something is eating you up. Something is bumping you. Something is stressing you. So because of that, you cannot do anything like that. You cannot move forward. If you can relax, if you can believe in the power of your God that takes care of you, you are going to overcome no matter the situation. The problem may still not be solved, but at least the knowledge of the fact that somebody is in control will keep you calm. And that is the essence of managing your stress. Keeping calm and ensuring that life goes on. Because there's more to life than just that problem that is eating you up. There's more to life. I don't care what kind of problem you are dealing with. But yes, there is more. Do you see it?
Yeah. Philippians 4 verse 6. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God,
my
which
goodness.
passes all
Say that part again. Say that part again. My goodness. My goodness. And the peace.
And the peace,
start from the be anxious for nothing.
Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication and with thanksgiving, let your request be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding,
my goodness,
will guard your heart,
my goodness,
and mind,
my goodness,
through Christ
my
Jesus.
goodness. I cannot. And the peace of God, my goodness, and the peace. You want peace. You don't want to be anxious. You don't want to go into panic attacks. You don't want to be stressed out with life. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer, just letting somebody above your God, by prayer and supplication, let your request, the issue that is eating you up, let it be known to your God. And after that, the Bible is saying that the peace of God, which passes all understanding. Remember, it is beating your mind, right? Remember, you have lost control over that, right? The Bible is saying that when you have lifted it up to God, because you cannot control it and you are stressed about it, his peace will come and take control. The peace of God that passes all understanding shall do what? Shall come to you and you shall overcome. So literally, that is how some people pray and we don't understand. Why these people, they are always praying? Because they are throwing away their stress. After some prayer, whether it's 30 minutes, 20 minutes or whatever, all that happens is you are stress-free. So the two key things here, men, we love it to have sex, women too, to have sex during stress situations. But then on top of it, let's add prayer. Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness.
And I would like to add this part that
Yes, go
will
ahead.
guard your heart and mind through Christ Jesus.
And the peace
of
of
God
God, after
will
you
guard.
let that stuff that is troubling you, and the peace of God which passes all understanding, which is beyond what you can imagine. That is literally what it means. Will do what? Will guard, will protect your heart. Remember,
From
we're
heart
talking.
attack,
Oh my goodness, my goodness, my
from
goodness,
blood pressure,
my goodness,
from diabetes,
my goodness,
and emotion. That your mind will guide your heart and your mind.
and your mind.
So that stress that will lead to anxiety, depression, all that in your mind, that peace of God is going to guard.
We're going to guard it
that mind and protect
and protect your heart. Remember, we're talking about stress causing heart attacks, diabetes, and all that. If you have a way to channel your stress to somebody, wouldn't you do it? That's what I do. That's why I am carefree for the most part, because if I can't handle it, thinking and worrying about it, it's not going to change it. As a matter of fact, the more you think about it, the more your brain goes way higher, because it troubles you. You cannot fix it if you cannot leave it to God and relax and let that peace of God sweep you over, and then you will feel the sense of peace. Though that mortgage will still be lacking, but at least because you have given it to God, you know somebody is taking care of you.
You've guarded your heart.
You've guarded your heart. You've guarded your mind. There are no anxious. You just have the frame of mind that you can begin to work out the necessary things to do to make the things work for you. So that is the most important thing that I want you to take. And the last thing that we wrote here is there are certain things that you have to avoid. Actually, this is not the last, there's one more. There are certain things you have to avoid if you are prone to stress. The first one being alcohol. I'm having a feeling that most of you who are watching this don't drink alcohol. But if per chance you've been tricked to believe that alcohol is good, so you are hooked in some way, somehow, just find a way of overcoming that addiction to alcohol, because not only is it torching your liver, not only is it destroying your liver, eventually you're going to get liver cirrhosis, especially if it is done in a long time and it is a lot. Eventually going to destroy your liver. And then also, alcohol will make you stressed. You may feel calm when you booze at that moment, but that problem that you calm yourself with the alcohol is not going anywhere. You just have to wake up from the booze, and the problem is, here I am again. So basically, alcohol, it should be avoided. Yeah, that thing, I don't know if you want to talk about the nicotine.
The alcohol, I think people manage their stress just like food. People use alcohol to calm their stress. When they're stressed, they will just hit the bar. So after a week's work, the Friday night is all boozing, just to release the stress. So they will just try and consume alcohol. But definitely that doesn't help the stress level.
It doesn't.
You wake up and you are even more stressed.
Even more stressed.
Alcohol is not a good way to manage your stress.
Definitely.
And people, when sometimes they're stressed, they just want to smoke. When they are all tense and in a situation, they just want to step out and smoke. So they use the nicotine to relax them. But we know that the bad side of inhaling and smoking, you are messing up a lot, your lungs, your kidneys, and all that. So definitely smoking doesn't help managing your stress.
My goodness, my goodness. The smoking, the nicotine is also chemically, it increases the same chemicals that we were talking about, the norepinephrine and the epinephrine. The nicotine also increases them. So it makes you be on the edge. Even though some people feel like when they are stressed, they need to smoke. It doesn't work out, because eventually your stress is going to be worse. And the last one is caffeine. And I see some interesting people watching. I don't see their charts as much, but hopefully you are chatting and we can see some of them. I want to read some of your comments. If you haven't commented, I see Mrs. Rose Santi, pastor's wife from Florida, is on the live, as well as Pastor Desmond, Corentin, Ado on the live. I see you on there. You guys have to click some. I'm pretty sure you've clicked the like button, but I haven't seen your comments yet. We are going to shape our stream in such a way that you can comment and it comes right in when we put it through the page. Facebook profile doesn't usually give us that chance, but we'll figure it out. We see it on the thing, so we can read it. So basically, caffeine as something you have to avoid if you are stressed. Again, like smoking, some people also use caffeine when they are stressed. Now, if it's not bothering you, if you don't have stress, then of course, 1 to 2 cups a day of coffee is fine. In fact, it has its own health benefits. We're going to have a video about that at some point in the future. That is good. But if you are constantly stressed, or you are in a stressful situation, or even in an acute situation, something happened and you are stressed for a day or a week, that time is not the time to drink caffeine or coffee because it can make your stress worse. Those of you who know coffee, it makes you be on the edge, and that is a sign of being anxious. And if you're stressed, you don't want to be on the edge all the time. So caffeine in that regard may not be something you want to drink if you are stressed, or if you are chronically stressed and you want to stop the stress. The other thing is medications. This would be the last way you want to use. So I don't know if you want to say anything about that. So for the medications, the only time you need medicine is when your stress has become a way that you actually cannot do or perform your normal functions. Okay. So for example, you cannot go to work because you're so stressed. You cannot, if you go to work, you cannot perform your normal duties. So stressed. You cannot have sex with your wife or your husband. So stressed. My goodness, you think I wasn't going to say that? You think I wasn't going to say that, right? So anything that comes and or the stress, the kind of stress that prevents you from doing your normal activities, that is when you need to seek a doctor's help. You may not be given medicine. They can, they can give you a psychologist who will counsel you, or if it is worse, they can refer you to a psychiatrist who will probably diagnose you with anxiety, because when stress is not managed well, sometimes it leads to depression and anxiety. And so you will be, in that case, treated with medications for depression or anxiety. But if not, they can just have counseling sessions for you through a psychologist. That is if your stress is becoming unbearable, unmanageable with all the things we have already said in this video. Your stress is not going away for whatever reason. Seek help at a doctor's office, either through medication or counseling. But definitely, if you don't belong to church, you have to go. That is, for me, that would be the first place, because when you go, like the social connections, when you go and you connect, that is the first way of making sure things don't go very bad. I don't know if Gifty has anything to add to that.
Yeah, and with the medication management, we have the vitamins. I know the B complex.
Good point.
The B complex also help. So if you feel like you are not having balanced diet and you are missing few nutritious vitamin minerals, you can try vitamin B complex. It's over the counter. You do one a day. That can help control your stress level if you feel like you need something.
Definitely. That is and that one is actually, I like that point, because we recommend this all the time for people who ask us on our regular jobs, and it is important. Some B vitamins, like she said, the B complex, which takes care of the B12, very important, B6, B1, and all those put together. B12, B complex vitamins helps with stress. On a cellular level, even it helps. And I take B complex vitamins even though I'm not stressed, because I just want to continuously become relaxed. So that would be something that you can take. But obviously, with any other medications, make sure you ask your doctor first before you take it, or your pharmacist at least. That way, it won't be contraindicated in case it is not something that's going to work for you because of your peculiar situation, or maybe a medication you're taking. Then they will be able to advise you. But if you talk to them and they say it's fine, that would be one thing to go. Even vitamin D will also be helpful. Some people, just all that they need is vitamin D. and things will work out good. So those two things are things we can recommend. Pair your doctor's agreement or your pharmacist's agreement to that. All right. I think that is probably all that we have for the stream. Unless anybody has a question, and honey, if you have anything that you want to share together, nothing. All right. So let's get close, and we are going to close on the stream today. And we actually, know why I was, yes, there we go. All right. So we want to say thank you very much for hanging around with us today. It's been a long video, and we could have done this in multiple series, but sometimes it's good to let it flow so that when you watch it once, you get everything. And if you just joined in the middle of the stream, remember to go back and start over, because we have hit most of the important parts of stress. How stress kills you slowly if you don't manage it. And we have also talked about how to manage your stress, including some interesting parts that will actually make for a good thing to share with your wife. Especially if you're not getting some of what I think we should be getting, guys. What I'm saying. All right. So, with that being said, it's been fun, and we love you. We thank you for coming on to share your Easter Sunday with us. And we'll close by saying, Beloved, we wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. God bless you, and
Thank
have a
you
good
for watching.